A Course of Love, Book 3, 40 Days and 40 Nights, Day 18, The Way to Paradise. You have been preparing for this final stage of the fulfillment of the way of Jesus. You have also been preparing for the beginning of the fulfillment of the way of Mary. Many of you will follow the way of Jesus to completion, beginning a stage of interaction with the world, an interaction with the miracles that will aid in the dismantling of the old, and with preparing the way for the birth of the new. Others of you will follow your hearts to a bypassing of the final stage of the old, and to anchoring the new with the web of reality. Still others will participate in both, following their innate desire to facilitate a creation or change through a specific function, even while moving into the new as they do so. Each way is as needed now as it was 2,000 years ago. One way is active, one way is receptive. Yet the ways are not separate any more than Jesus was separate from Mary, or any mother separate from her child. The ways are rather complementary and symbiotic. Together they return wholeness and will bring about the completion of the time of Christ. This symbiotic working together will be essential for the birth of the new. In truth symbolizes it in form and process, as within, so without. Mary represents the relationship that occurs within, Jesus the relationship that occurs with the world. So do each of you. These two ways also represent God and Christ consciousness, the extension of God. God is everything in heaven and on earth, and is in everything on earth and on heaven. Thus, God represents the world without. Christ consciousness is God within you, your particular manifestation of God and relationship with the God within. As has been said, the time of teaching and learning is over. If the way of Jesus was a way of acceptance, teaching, learning and leading an example life, then the remaining ways of Jesus that are still applicable and appropriate in this final period are those of acceptance and of being an example life. Only those who have fully accepted who they are capable of being example lives. These example lives are evidenced through the individuation of the one self among the many. In other words, to choose to be an example life is to choose to be made known by and to the many. It is full acceptance of the self in a form that can be distinguished or individuated from the rest. It is full acceptance of the difference as well as sameness and of the necessity of each. It is a choice many will be called to do. It is a choice many will be called to, so that sameness is seen in difference. The one is seen in the many, and the many seen in the one. It is a way of service through action. It is a way of joy and harmony, for only through joy and harmony can true service become true action. It is the way for those who desire to bring expression to a calling they feel within to do something. It is the way for those whose fulfillment and completion is interlaced with bringing this expression to fulfillment. If the call is there, the need is there. Have no question in your mind about this. The universe is comprised of no superfluous elements. What you feel called to is needed. To be an example life is to be what you represent in truth. Followers of all faiths are called to example lives and to representation of the same truth. All faith is faith in the unknown through knowing, as a glimpse of fleeting light in darkness provides for a knowing of light. Those who accept completion of the way of Jesus accept their power to be generators of light in darkness without judging or expelling darkness. They accept their power to represent both the known and the unknown, and to reveal the unknown through the known. They accept the death of the self and the resurrection of the one self, the end of the individual and the individuation of the one self amongst the many. They find renewed pleasure in being who they are, because they have been renewed through resurrection. They follow the calling of their hearts without attachment to previous concerns, for in their renewal they fully realize the necessity what can be given only through expression of what is within them. They realize that what is needed now is needed in order to renew or resurrect the world and all who abide within it. Resurrection lays aside death's claim, and with it the claim of all that is temporary. This is why we have spent time on the idea of sickness and unwanted states as temporary manifestation. Your separated state was a sickness, an unwanted state, and thus a temporary manifestation. The joining of mind and heart provided reunion of the human and divine, and thus accomplished the resurrection of the eternal in form. Your virgin state, the state unaltered by the separation, has been returned. The truth represented by Jesus and Mary was represented as a visual pattern that would aid understanding of the invisible. This is what you are now called to do. Whether you demonstrate the myth of duality or the truth of union, you are demonstrating the same thing. The way in which you do this must be chosen, and for this choice to be made with full consciousness, you must rely on your feelings. Feelings are your awareness of the present and thus of the truth. They are your means of coming to know. They arise from Christ consciousness. They come not in response, but as creations. Often science and religion have puzzled over the beginning of life, over what causes the formation of life, over what tells the brain what to do, over the organizing factor of DNA, of tissue and cells that do know exactly how to interact. Where does this knowing come from? When something appears to go wrong, what is the source of malfunction? You have been told that although you believed yourself to be separate, this separation never actually occurred, and that you have always been the accomplished. If this had not been true, the cause of life would not have been a cause of truth. Just as neither brain nor heart alone provide for a functioning body, mind and heart in separation could only truly exist and allow for a functioning state of life or consciousness. Thus there was only a degree of separation that was able to occur to allow for a certain type of experience. Now a new degree of union is occurring to allow for a new type of experience. The new visual pattern is that of spirit resurrected in form. It is the ascension of the body or elevation of the self of form. You are called to demonstrate this pattern. The choice is to demonstrate this pattern through interaction with the world, or through incarnation through a relationship. Neither is exclusive. Both are contained within the other. But the way of discovery and demonstration is different. You are called to demonstrate this new visual pattern. What is meant here by the word demonstrate is to show your feelings, to make them visible. They are the creations unique to you through the interactions with the Christ consciousness that abides within you. One way of doing this is through individuation and becoming to know. One way of doing this is incarnation through relationship, in which the relationship, rather than the individuated self, becomes the known. Both ways are ways of creation. When feelings are shown or made visible, the new is created. This has always been the way of creation. Each blade of grass, each flower, each stone is a creation of feelings. All you need do is look about you to know that feelings of love still abound. Beauty still reigns. Both the self and the relationship of self to all must become known in order for the paradise that has been refound to be recreated for everyone. What else would life be for but to make the invisible paradise of love visible and livable for all?